Welcome, and thank you for choosing the unique polymer panel pool system from Kafko. Not only have you bought a product that's safe and easy to install, you've also invested in many years of enjoyment in a structure that's guaranteed for a lifetime. Kafko's aim is to provide you with a pool that will give you and your family many years of enjoyment and relaxation. To see the children grow with confidence as they explore the natural beauty of water. Exercise is a part of everyday life, whether young or old. Having your own pool will mean the difference in not having to travel to the local leisure centre, but to enjoy the privacy of taking exercise in your own garden and at your own time. And when the sun starts to shine, it will make the weekend, barbecue or a party that little bit extra special by having the pool as the focal point of the event, encouraging fun, laughter and excitement, not forgetting to allow time for each other. Whether you have decided to purchase a round or a rectangular pool, it will certainly enhance the natural beauty of your garden by day or by night. This video, along with a step-by-step manual installation guide, is designed to help you obtain a trouble-free professional pool installation in a matter of days that will result in the pool of your dreams. Kafko's polymer panel system could not be easier to build. Using a panel that is made from 100% virgin, high-impact polymer resin, incorporating non-biodegradable polymer foams, ensures that the panel is unaffected by corrosion for a lifetime. In addition, the cellular structure of the panel acts as a thermal screen, withholding heat in the pool and blocking the penetrating cold from the surrounding ground. The self-assembly flat-bottom pool is built to a standard 4-foot depth, but has the added option of being built to a 5-foot depth for the same price, as the same liner is used. The benefit of having a flat-bottom pool enables all of the family to utilize the whole of the pool area and not just be confined to the shallow end. If children have a bearing on the depth of pool you decide to build, why not consider building the pool to the standard depth and, when the liner is replaced in approximately 7 to 10 years, excavate to a new deeper depth of 5 foot. Great emphasis has been put into making an instructional rather than a promotional video. Kafko understand the trepidation of undertaking any type of construction for the first time, and building a pool is no exception. This video, along with a detailed installation manual, will enable you, the end user, to build a pool confidently and easily, but without incurring the expense of hiring professional pool builders. Thank you for purchasing at Kafko Pool. It's what dreams are made of. Site location. It's extremely important to give due consideration to the pool location. Good access is paramount for the excavation and supply of the building materials. It's a good idea to do a scale drawing of your garden, marking the position of your proposed pool, fences, trees, buildings and access. Ideally, position your pool in the garden where the ground is flat and in a sunny location throughout the day. Make sure that there will be no electric cables, water or drainage pipes that run under your proposed site. It may be a good idea to contact your local authority to check for any underground services that you may not be aware of. It's important to view this video and read the instruction manual thoroughly prior to commencing installation. The pool size we have decided to film for this installation video is a 30 by 14 foot with the optional square step. We have also decided to use the 5-foot depth option. This extra depth, if preferred, will not increase the price of your pool kit, as the same liner is used. You should also think about your access from the house, where the filtration, heating and electrical supplies are to be housed and connected. Long service runs will inevitably incur more expense, so keep these to a minimum. The site we filmed was dry. If you incur groundwater while excavating, contact your dealer who will inform you on how to install a simple underground drainage system. Your Kafko pool kit will be delivered in 3 to 4 packages. Using the checklist provided, please inspect and familiarize yourself with all the components. In the unlikely event that any of the components are missing, please contact your dealer prior to the installation. The list of tools and equipment in the instruction manual will help you to carry out the following installation. There is also a helpful chart indicating the estimated building materials that will be required according to the size of pool you have chosen. Now you are ready to turn your Kafko dream into reality. Stage 1. Marking out for the pool excavation. For the purpose of this film, we decided to clear all obstructions, shrubs, etc. Once you have decided on the location, it's important to mark out the exact shape and size of the pool. Start by marking out the length and width of the pool, inserting a steel pin in each corner. Now check the diagonal measurements to make sure the pool is square. Run string lines to each corner of the pool to act as a guide when marking out the floor using a spray marking paint. Now that the actual pool size has been marked out, mark another rectangle 2 feet longer on all 4 sides. This is required to form a shelf for the panels to be placed on, and also acts as a working trench to receive the polymer support bracing. Next, create the 24-inch radius corners as per the instruction manual. The optional step unit, if purchased, should also be marked out at this time. Once the pool has been marked in the desired position, you will need to decide on the datum level. The datum level is the finished height of your paving surround. To do this, you will have to hire a site level checking device. This will enable you to check the depth of the pool structure at any point of excavation. You must also be aware that your pool construction will be raised 4 to 6 inches out of the ground to allow for the paving surround to slope away from the pool. This will allow for splashed water and rainwater to drain away. Stage 2. Excavation. Careful planning and consideration should be given to the removal of the excavated soil. Remember that soil removed from the ground expands, increasing in size and bulk if you're considering leaving the soil on site. To dig the hole, a mechanical excavator will have to be hired. An experienced operator can be hired to carry out the excavation for you. But due to the simplified installation of this particular pool kit, we feel that you should be able to hire a small excavator and carry out the task yourself. The excavator hired for this film is a 3-ton Kubota. If you are digging the pool to the standard dimension, then simply excavate the rectangular hole to the depth of 4 foot 2.5 inches from the datum level. This measurement will allow for the depth of the Kafko panel and the aluminium coping trim. Use the site leveling device throughout the excavation to check that a constant depth is achieved. Once the pool has been excavated to a constant depth, run string lines across the excavation and remark the location of the pool on the pool floor. We decided to dig the 5-foot depth option for this pool. If you have decided on the 4-foot constant depth option, proceed to stage 3. For the 5-foot pool depth, you will need to excavate another 14 inches to a depth of 5 foot 2 inches. You will also need to incorporate 3 foot 6 inch side banks on all 4 sides of the pool structure to enable you to do this. The excavation should be undertaken with extreme care, especially underneath the pool walls, since any overdigging will have to be adjusted with bricks and cement, and more time. The intended result is to form an approximate 15-degree slope from the bottom of the pool panel to the floor. You will have to hand trim this part of the excavation to reach the desired result. Again, use the leveling device to check the correct depth has been achieved. A step unit, if purchased, should commence your final part of the excavation. Again, hand trimming will be necessary. Once you have completed the pool excavation, it's a good idea to utilize the digger to dig a trench from the proposed filtration room to the pool structure. This will allow for plumbing and any electrical connections to reach the pool. Stage 3. Installing the pool panels and optional step unit. When the excavation has been completed, it's time to install the pool panels. Start by assembling the 2-foot radius corners first. To do this, you will need to use the unique Kafko patented multi-flex corner panel. The panel has been designed so that it can be flexed to create an internal radius. To make sure that the right radius is achieved, a strap set is used. The strap sets are marked by an identification sticker and pre-drilled by a computer at the factory. Each strap is simply pushed onto the back of the panel and fastened into position using the push-on fasteners provided. Prior to attaching a corner to a straight panel, a 1-inch polymer insert must be inserted on either side of the corner panel. Start the wall construction by bolting one corner to a straight panel on the length and width of the pool. Attaching a corner to a straight will enable the panels to support themselves when they are lowered onto the pool floor. 3 location holes in the side of the panels will enable you to temporarily fix all the panels together. There are no braces required at this stage. Simply lower each corner assembly into the hole and attach to each other. Continue to assemble and fix the remaining panels. You should refer to your pool layout plan to make sure that skimmer and inlet cutouts are located in the correct position. An underwater light, if purchased, should be positioned so that it will shine away from the house. Skimmers should ideally be positioned facing the prevailing wind. A step unit, if purchased, simply replaces a panel section in the wall structure. It's a good idea to temporarily fix the step to the panels by using G-clamps. The step unit is not pre-drilled. Therefore, when the step unit is in the correct position, drill through the existing panel holes and secure to the step unit. Stage 4. Securing pool wall panels. Now all the panels have been temporarily fixed together, it's time to fit the polymer braces. Attached to the brace is a polymer pin. These should be removed and put to one side. A brace is required at every panel joint. If 5 or 6 foot panels have been supplied, an intermediate brace will be required in the middle of the panel. Now that all of the pool panels and braces have been attached, you will need to run string lines across the length and width of the pool structure to make sure that the pool walls are correctly aligned. The panels must also be set to the same height. If some of the panels need to be raised, use odd bits of slate or tiles to pack underneath them, until the correct height is achieved. Never be tempted to fill any voids with sand or soil. You will also need to check the diagonals to make sure the pool is rectangular and not distorted. If supplied, you should also level and secure the step unit to the panels at this time. The panels are now ready to be fixed permanently into position. Start by inserting the steel aligning pins provided into the pre-drilled holes in the bottom of the panels. These pins will prevent the pool panels from moving when the concrete ring beam is poured. The polymer stakes that were set aside earlier should now be inserted into the bottom of the polymer brace. Using a club hammer, drive the polymer stake into the ground, leaving approximately 1 inch exposed. Check the panel is upright and adjust if necessary, either by tapping the top of the polymer brace or by driving the stake fully home. Once all of the polymer stakes have been inserted, your pool wall assembly is now complete. Stage 5. Installing aluminium coping receptor. The aluminium coping receptor is now attached to the top of the pool panels with the screws provided. The coping provides 3 purposes. It will help realign the top of the pool panels, act as a receptor for the pool liner, and an edging trim for the pool surround. A fascia cover clip is applied at every coping joint. Support brackets are also inserted approximately every 4 feet. For infill gaps, simply measure and cut a piece of coping to fit. It's also a good idea to leave out one section of coping. This will allow access for the building material to enter the pool structure. Stage 6. The concrete ring beam. You are now ready to pour the concrete ring beam around the bottom of the pool structure and step unit if installed. This should be done in 2 stages. The first pour should allow for a depth of approximately 3 inches of concrete. Great care should be taken when pouring the concrete behind the panels, making sure that the panels are not moved or distorted in any way. Before the first pour of concrete has set, check the panel alignment using string lines. When you are satisfied that the pool structure is correctly aligned and the concrete has set, it's time to carry out the second pour to complete the concrete ring beam. You are now ready to screed the pool floor. Stage 7. The floor screed. The pool floor and banks are to be covered with a floor screed consisting of 4 parts building sand to 1 part cement. Enough water should be added to enable the screed, when fully mixed, to be compressed into a ball using your hands. Never be tempted to use sharp sand for the floor screed, as this will cause damage to the liner. A 2-inch screed depth is required for the pool floor. To do this, you will need to chalk a line 2 inches up from the bottom of the pool panel. This line will be your finished screed depth. If you have decided to opt for the 5-foot depth option, you will need to screed the side banks first. To obtain the finished floor depth, insert a steel pin in the 4 corners of the pool floor and run a string line as a guide. It's a good idea to use 2-inch by 1-inch wooden battens as a guide to maintain the correct depth. The screed should be firmly tamped into place using a wooden or plastic float. We recommend working in small areas at a time, as this is far easier to control and will result in a better finish. After the screed material has been applied and tamped into place, remove any excess material using a straight edge between the chalk line on the panel and the wooden batten. When you are happy with the finished depth of the screed, you will need to use a wooden or plastic float to achieve a semi-smooth finish. A steel float is then used to obtain a smooth finish. Do not be put off by any minor imperfections that may occur in the finished result, as an all-patterned liner is used and therefore will hide any blemishes. Again, when screeding the base of the pool, use wooden battens as a guide to make sure the correct depth is maintained. What could be easier? Always allow 24 hours for the floor screed to fully set before walking onto the pool floor. For any small imperfections that you may find in the screed the following day, use a small amount of neat cement to act as a filler. Stage 8. Installing the circulation fittings and optional underwater light. A skimmer will be supplied to enable surface debris to be removed and filter the pool water. Simply locate the extension throat into the pre-cut opening and fix with the nuts and bolts provided. The skimmer is supplied in two parts, the extension throat and the skimmer body. A stop plug is glued to the underside of the skimmer body to blank off either the metric or imperial plumbing connection. Using liberal amounts of glue, join the skimmer body to the extension throat. Two inlet fittings will be supplied. One is a high inlet and the other a low inlet. To install the inlet fittings, simply insert a fitting into the pre-cut hole and apply the back nut. These inlets distribute the cleaned, filtered pool water back into the pool. Tighten the back nut by a quarter turn using a pair of large grips. An underwater light, if purchased, should now also be installed at this stage. The light housing is inserted into the pre-cut hole and attached using 4 locating screws to the white backing ring that will have already been fitted for you. A conduit that receives the electric cable from the light unit is connected to the back of the light housing using a silicon sealant. An electric junction box, called a deck box, is connected to the conduit. Again, apply a silicon sealant. Next, remove the light unit from the light housing. You will see that a quantity of electric cable is wrapped around the light. It's most important that you do not shorten this, as it will enable you to retrieve the light when the pool is full of water to change the bulb in the future. The cable is threaded through a waterproof gland to the deck box, leaving enough cable for a qualified electrician to connect to. Make sure that the cable gland is fully tightened. Wrap the excess cable around the light unit and reinsert back into the light housing. Now that all the pool fittings have been installed, you are ready to install the pool liner. Stage 9. Liner installation. Prior to installing your pool liner, you will need to apply the wall fitting gaskets. These will prevent water from escaping around the fittings. The gaskets will either be self-adhesive or will require a small amount of silicon sealant or tape to hold them in position. If a step unit has been supplied, remove the clamping plate. This should expose a gasket that will already have been factory fitted. Next, tape up all panel joints with the reinforced tape provided. This is to prevent any suction loss when the liner is vacuumed into position. Now, thoroughly sweep and vacuum the pool floor, making sure that all debris, sand, small stones, etc. are removed. Any debris left behind at this stage cannot be retrieved once the liner has been installed. Vacuum the aluminium coping receptor to make sure that no debris has entered the receptor channel. Now it's time to install the liner. Start by lifting and placing the liner into the middle of the pool floor. Unroll the liner towards each end of the pool. Extra pairs of hands are always helpful when installing the liner. Notice that all footwear has been removed. This ensures that no debris enters the pool area and prevents any damage or marking occurring on the liner. Also, notice how the liner is being lifted in small sections as they reposition it towards one end of the pool. It should never be dragged along the floor. Now, unfold the liner across the width of the pool until the floor area is covered. If the outdoor temperature is below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, we would recommend that you postpone the installation until warmer weather prevails. Take your time when installing the liner. A little patience at this stage ensures the installation is trouble-free. Start in one corner and insert the white beading that is attached to the liner to the aluminium coping receptor. Make sure that the bottom of the liner follows the contour of the radius corner. Continue to insert the liner along the width of the pool to the other corner. Again, check the bottom of the pool floor to make sure that the liner is following the contour of the corner. When the two corners of the liner have been installed, check to make sure that it's square and true. To help you do this, look at the pattern on the liner and see if it leans to one side, i.e. diagonally. If it does, adjust by simply pulling the liner in the opposite direction. Also, check the wall floor seam. Make sure that it's parallel with the bottom of the pool panel. Continue to insert the remaining liner material down both lengths of the pool and into the remaining corners. The liner is not tailor-made to the exact size of your pool. Therefore, you may find that when you are trying to insert the last corner, that you may be short of material. If this happens, you will need to gather more material by stretching the liner evenly along the length and width of the pool sides, until you are able to insert the liner into the remaining corner. If a square step has been installed, then it's a good idea to make a temporary wooden support for the liner. You will need to make up a timber frame and attach a strip of plastic liner lock extrusion. When all of the liner beading has been installed, a wet and dry vacuum is used to remove any shallow creases and to hold the liner in position. Insert the vacuum hose through the skimmer until the end of the hose is approximately 8 inches from the pool floor. Seal the top of the skimmer and the back of the inlet fittings with tape to prevent any suction loss when the vacuum is turned on. The top of the step unit also requires sealing. To do this, use either the liner packaging or some plastic sheeting and place over the step area and seal with tape. The vacuum, when turned on, will remove all the air from inside the pool structure and position the liner into place. Any small remaining visible creases can be smoothed out manually by brushing to one side of the pool using a long-handled soft broom. Check the corners to make sure that they are in the correct position. When you are satisfied with the finished result, the snap lock extrusion is fitted to ensure that the liner does not pull away from the aluminium coping receptor. Now you are ready to commence filling the pool. When the water level has reached the correct height, the vacuum is switched off and the vacuum hose removed. It is now time to fit the clamp plate and faceplate fittings. Start by fitting the inlet fittings first. Using a sharp knife, make a star-shape incision. Using your fingertips, fill for the screw holes underneath the liner. Using one of the screws, puncture the liner to locate two of the holes. Now align the clamp plate against the marked liner and fit the remaining screws. Make sure that all of the screws are evenly tightened. Apply the directional cover plate that enables you to control the direction of the water flow. The same method of fixing applies to the underwater light and the skimmer. It's very important that you refer to your installation guide to check that the water level is at the correct height prior to fitting and cutting out any of the clamp plates. Do not be tempted to turn the underwater light on until the water level is above the light unit. It is often easier to fit the skimmer clamp plate from the outside of the pool. It is not necessary to trim the liner too close to the clamp plates, as the face plates will cover any excess liner material that is left. The step unit contains many screws and should ideally all be tightened by hand. If a screw gun is used, insert the screws initially, but you must finish by hand tightening. When all the fittings have been applied, turn the water back on to commence filling. Stage 10. Plumbing. You will now have some spare time to run the plumbing lines back to the filtration room. It's a good idea to place a layer of building sand along trench areas to protect pipework from sharp stones, etc. You will need to refer to your manual for instructions on how to connect up your filtration plant. Make sure that all gas or electrical appliances are connected by qualified engineers. Now is also a good time to organize and take delivery of building materials that may be needed for the pool surround. Stage 11. Backfilling. The gap between the pool walls and the undisturbed ground is to be backfilled using a non-expansive material. Backfilling should ideally be done as the pool fills, as this will prevent any distortion occurring throughout the pool walls. We recommend that 40mm shingle is used and should always be placed evenly around the pool structure. Never use expansive materials such as clay, as this may distort the pool structure in the future. Stage 12. Concrete ring beam. You will need to terminate the backfill approximately 4 inches below the top of the pool panel to allow for a concrete ring beam that will support your paving surround. If you have decided to have a concrete pattern surround, you will need to adjust the height of your backfill accordingly. Your pool construction is now complete. All that's left is to add the landscaping. For this pool construction, we have decided to use the random mock York paving from Bowland Stone. As an alternative, timber decking could be used. Make sure that it has a non-slip finish to prevent accidents occurring. Now, all that's required is for you to enjoy your pool and time with your family and friends, and let the neighbours worry about the traffic jams on the way to the beach. Swim and enjoy. You deserve it. Good night.